Welcome to our presentation today. Our presentation will be on UML component diagrams by John Stutz and Koby Campbell. Component diagrams are used in visualizing the physical structural aspects of your system. So a component is an overview of a complex functional aspect of the system. A component may contain many classes and/or interfaces in order to complete their overall function. Before we dive in to a whole component UML diagram, let's just take a look at first what a basic piece of a component diagram may look like. So in the rectangle would be the name of the component. And from the left, we have the required interface, what it's going to be able to use in order to accomplish the task which the component will do. And then on the right, we have the provided interface, what the output of the given function of what the component is going to do will actually provide or do or accomplish. And this is what a basic piece of a component diagram looks like. And you can also have additional components attaching on the right or on the left instead of an interface.
This method, where one side of a diagram connects to another, is called ball and socket, as you can see depicted in the diagram, with one ball corresponding to another component's socket. UML component diagrams show a variety of aspects of a program and the relationships that exist between them. The main use of these types of diagrams is with component-based development in object-oriented programming. Using this model, especially when working with APIs, two programs that use the same API could share a component diagram piece, as they are interchangeable and able to define what the component does without describing how it interacts with the program itself, that is, for the logical view. Here we can see the various aspects of a program represented as they would be on a UML diagram.
Some pros to component diagrams are, one, that they give you a good general image of the physical structure of your system. And because of this, you're then able to see how the different components of your system relate to each other. And also that you're able to see what each component requires from the system and what each component provides for the system. And now some cons to component diagrams. First, when we have a really big complex system, the diagram can look very messy and long with a bunch of arrows crisscrossing everything, with coming in and out of all the different components. Basically, if you have lots of components that are doing many different things because they have lots of different classes and functions, component design can become very messy and hard to read. And then also another thing is that component diagrams hide the information of flow and how it changes. It can give you like what comes in and what comes out, but it doesn't really say what happens all in the middle. And if you want to know that and need to know that, component diagrams are very hard to be able to see and understand that. When do you want to use component diagrams? First, when you just want a general overview of the physical structure of your system. And then two, if the project you're working on is not extremely large and complex, not necessarily like small, but that just doesn't overcomplicate a lot of the things going on in your project. So those are the two things that we recommend for using component diagrams, is when you want a good general overview of what's going on in your system, and when you actually have not overly complicated components that belong to your system.
Overall, a UML diagram is a diagram based on the unified modeling language with the purpose of visually representing a system along with its main actors, roles, actions, artifacts, or classes in order to better understand, alter, maintain, or document information about the system. It's basically just an easy way to break down what your program does and an easy way to convey that information visually to others about your project.
Thanks for watching our video on UML component diagrams. Have a great day.